Alrighty, so welcome to my Senior with Seniors project. I'll be asking you a bunch of different questions today. So feel free to take as much time as you need. And then if you need me to repeat a question or rephrase it differently, just let me know. Oh, if you don't want to answer a question, you don't have to.
Okay.
Okay. So my first question, if you want to go ahead and tell me your name and your age.
Okay, I'm Becky Minkel, and I was 73 in December.
Alrighty. So do you happen to have any kids or grandkids?
I have 2 adult children, a son that has a 6-year-old little girl, and a 10-year-old little boy. And then I've got a daughter that has almost 17 in 3 weeks, 17-year-old daughter, and a 19-year-old son. They all live here. My grandson goes to University of Arkansas, but they all live within 4 miles on either side of me, and I live in the middle. My husband and I live in the middle.
All right. And then are you currently working, or did you have...
Yes.
Okay, what job do you work?
I own an agency that does medical sign language interpreting.
Oh, okay. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your job? Like how that works?
So I'm the ears and the voice of the deaf. I do 100% medical, so if they've got a doctor appointment, the clinic employs me, and they schedule me, and then I just show up and I interpret for the deaf and voice for the doctors. And I've been doing it, 18 years. I got my degree.
Oh, wow.
I got a degree in teaching when I was younger in elementary ed, and then when I was going to teach, I was teaching 2nd grade, and I needed continuing ed classes, and so I took a sign language class and fell in love with the culture, the language, everything. And so so I used it in my hearing class to teach kids that had learning challenges. I would sign like they're spelling words. I'd sign it with them, and I found that they could remember the word if we'd sign it, and then we'd finger spell it. They could remember it better than if just the normal way of teaching. And then I used it as a means of discipline. So like if we needed to line up, I'd just tap the desk twice, even though they were hearing, and I'd tell them voice off, and I'd point to the door and go line up, and they'd do all that. When we were walking down the hall, like to activities or lunch or something, I'd finger spell a sign, and then they'd sign it like tree, and then they'd sign tree. So I used it as a teaching tool. And then I moved here 20 years ago because I was getting ready. I grew up here, but getting ready to have my first grandchild, who's 19. He'll be. Let's see. Yeah, he's 19. So almost 21 years ago, I moved here. My son, who was a young adult, only needed 6 hours of foreign language to get his degree in criminal justice.
Yes.
And so he and I took 13 hours. We both went through 13 hours of sign language class, and I went ahead and got an associate degree in it. And he got his hours and got his degree. And then, I started interpreting for different agencies here in Tyler. Well, really, we only had one. I started interpreting for an agent here in Tyler agency. And the lady that was running it was moving to Palestine. And anyway, I ended up sort of taking over her business. Changed the names and changed a few things. So I've been doing it now for 18 years.
Wow, that's incredible. And then outside of your job, do you have any hobbies that you pursue?
I love to decorate.
Okay.
I don't do it for money. I love, like, if someone needs a room decorated in their house, it's always people I know. Then I love to go and just rearrange from what they have, and I love to do that at my house and my children's houses and friends' houses. So if I have time, that's what I do. I'd say I do as my hobby.
Alrighty, so I'm going to get into a little more, some more questions that are a little bit more focused on the project that I have. So, do you feel like the age that you are, or do you feel like you're younger or older?
For my age,
Yeah. So you said you were
3.
73. Do you feel 73 or
No,
do you feel...
I feel like I'm in my 50s. I've still got a lot of energy.
Oh, yes.
And I think that working helps.
Yeah.
You know, I think it keeps my mind active, and so no, I don't feel my age. I interpret medical, so I see people all the time, like in the orthopedic. In orthopedic, I see people younger than me, my age, I would guess, older, that have got so many more health issues that I feel really blessed that I don't have any health issues. So
Yeah.
I think this is keeping me young.
Alrighty. And then you said you're from this area. Where all have you been in the world to get back to where you are today?
Well, I was born and raised here. Went to college at Texas Tech. Met my husband, who was a pilot in the Air Force, and we married. And then we moved to Alaska, Arizona, Las Vegas, Enid, Oklahoma, and retired back in Wichita Falls. And then when I found out we were going to have our first, then he went to work flying for FedEx, so we could live anywhere. So when I found out that we were going to have a grandchild here, then we moved back about 2 months before he was born.
All right.
So,
Okay. And then I'm like trying to I wrote some questions down today. Let's see. What was your favorite part about growing up in the area then? Like, because it was such a different time. I mean, what was it like to grow up in this area?
I'd say the safety and security, and just kind of much more freedom. Like, we could ride our bicycle anywhere, and we could walk anywhere, and it was safe. And you know, we didn't have social media. And we didn't have cell phones or iPads or anything, and so we were outside all the time. And that's what I miss from my grandchildren. So I think that's the difference, is we're not in that little safe. Tyler then was only 30,000 when I was growing up. So if we came to White House, that was considered like to play football. That was an out-of-town game.
Oh, wow.
we had to plan.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's different.
Yeah. Were there any struggles growing up during Tyler at such a small, such a small town? Like, do you feel like you had any struggles?
Our high school, you know, when I was, and your dad, and I mean your grandfather and I, when we were in high school, I think it was our junior or senior year, they closed down all the black schools here to kind of get, instead of just splitting kids up and putting them all at different schools, they just closed. It was all black schools, all white schools. Well, they just closed the black schools, and I always felt sad and bad about that, because I thought kids who were seniors that were like, you know, holding different positions in their school, like National Honor Society or cheerleader or some of these things, all of a sudden all that was shut off, and they were just brought to a new school. So I think that was a struggle. I really wasn't as aware as I am now how I wish we would not have done it. I wish Tyler had not done it that way.
Yeah.
But there was
such a hard reset for all those kids.
Yes, for all those kids. And of course, I felt like everybody got along pretty well, but as I got older and more mature, I thought they had to have resented some of that, and I was oblivious to that.
Yeah. Alrighty. And then, do you have an interesting story about your life that you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, let's see. Trying to think. It's more my husband's, but I got to be a part of it. My husband was a Thunderbird, and so we got to move to Vegas. I had a 3-year-old and a 5.5-year-old when we moved to Vegas, but we got to meet all kinds of celebrities. We got to go to Hawaii for a week because the team was doing an air show there, and so we had to pay for our ticket, but otherwise the Air Force provided everything for us. We had meals with, you know, different little of government officials and stuff on the island. So it was a 2-year very interesting. Wasn't my thing, but I mean, it was my husband's job, but I got to be a part of it. So I'd say that was probably one of the most interesting things, to meet celebrities all the time. We'd go to dinner with them, and it was just like, oh, this week we're going with, this celebrity, none of which you would know. You're too young. They're probably all deceased. But anyway, it was fun.
Well, that is so fun. Let's see. I think. When you look back at your life, do you feel like you have a lot of regrets, or do you have a lot more fond memories that you look back on?
I have all fond.
That's good.
I can't think of any. I mean, God has been more than abundant. I still see friends like, my high school friends, your grandfather, that group. I've got a lot of military friends that we get to go visit, or they come here. I had a wonderful sister. I have 3 other sisters, wonderful parents. So I would say I don't have any regrets or any. I can't think of even a sad time. God gave me a very happy life.
That's amazing. All right, so I've just got a few questions left for you. One of them being, what do you feel like makes life worth living?
For me, it's the number one thing is because I love God so much. I love Jesus so much. I just think that any situations we're in, he's just so beautiful about taking charge. And then, and so for that, because I love Jesus so much, I think that he has just given me an amazing children and husband and friends, and I owe it all to him. So he just lets me see the world in a good light.
Alrighty. And then my final question is, do you have any advice that you'd like to share for anyone in like a younger generation, such as myself, who might be watching this video?
Honestly, because I think the world's getting a little upside down I do feel bad for that, for my children. And my children, I've got a 48-year-old and a 45, almost 46-year-old. And even for their generation, I think my number one goal every day when I wake up is to pray that people know Jesus and just see how amazing. I think that's it, because then I think everything else, I just see when we've had struggles before. I really can't think, I can think of a couple, but nothing that Jesus wasn't right in the part of. So that would be my biggest thing. It's just that if everybody in this world could just know how amazing, then life would be so good. So I think that would be it.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much.